The transfer window is sort of like like the dating scene where
Wow, interesting. Tell us
Yes.
more. How is your dating life like that?
because
He too has not gotten any
although
victim.
even though yes, by virtue of the fact that you've chosen to date someone or chosen a club, it also then points to the fact that did the people that you really wanted, did they also try to choose you?
It's funny. It's funny how the conversation on Twitter this week is Nigerian women settling for less.
Yeah, because
Oh, God.
I mean
Oh,
sometimes
it's
you don't
better.
you don't have you don't have a choice really in who tries to sign you.
I will forward
And
the therapist now.
unfortunately,
You need to get this clear. On Thursday, the 3rd of July, the world of football was thrown into mourning as we all woke up to some incredibly shattering news of the tragic passing of Liverpool forward Diogo Jota and his brother Andrew Silva, and followed, I want to say swiftly, by another incredibly disappointing or distraughting news, the passing of Nigerian legend Super Eagles former goalkeeper Peter Rufai, Dodo Mayana. And even though by the time the last episode of the OnlyFootball Podcast was shot, that didn't happen. It happened after we had shot. But this is our first opportunity to actually, and even though the Passport brand has, paid tribute to them on our various social media platforms, this is our chance to actually do it on the OnlyFootball Podcast with our mouth. So my name is Tunde Young. Welcome to episode 22 of the OnlyFootball Podcast. I'm joined by Ayoola Kelechi, Joba Ogunwale, Faruq Ibrahim, and a returning guest in Tosin Abayomi. Guys, any thoughts on the darkest day in football history, at least in recent memory?
Joba is a Liverpool fan, true. Actually, starting.
Yeah, I mean it was really really a sad one. Especially considering how it happened. The news came out of nowhere. It wasn't like a case of maybe he was sick or something like that. So it was really really shocking. And then
That's for Jota.
for Jota, for a player in his prime, and then you look at it also, football has to take a back seat here because you look at it, parents, mother and a father lost. I think they have just two sons, and those two sons they lost at the same day. On the same day,
weeks after his wedding.
yeah. A woman, a wife lost her husband. Three children lost their uncle, and then a father. So it's really, really a tragic situation that you cannot even quantify or something like that. So all I can just say is like condolences to the Jota family. Really, really, really. I mean, it's something that will live in their minds forever. And also, you have to consider Liverpool players also. I mean, coming back to preseason, it's going to definitely be a different feeling. Salah said he has never been afraid to come back to Liverpool until now. I think that says a lot. I think of all the tributes that the players gave, I think that was one that actually moved me a lot, because you look at it like, how are the players going to cope going into the new season? And also for Peter Rufai, it's a hard one for Nigerian football also. I think he was a player who he was a goalkeeper who actually made that number one spot. I mean, people even call him Keeper Rufai sometimes. So I want to say condolences to his family, and may the souls of the dearly departed rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Peter Rufai taken from us far too soon at the age of 61. Former African Cup of Nations winner in 1994, and was at the World Cup in USA 94 and France 98. as well. We pray that his soul rests in peace. We hear that he passed after a prolonged illness, and actually reports say he actually even passed on Thursday morning, so which is kind of close to when the Jota thing happened, but we didn't hear about it till evening. So we pray that the family has the fortitude to bear the loss. Part of why the Jota one was particularly gut wrenching was, and I think that as in our generation, we feel like there's nothing that can happen now that has not happened before. But this was genuinely a first. Premier League footballers simply don't die. Like we've seen ex Premier League footballers, we've seen players in active players pass on, but I don't think we've ever seen like a Premier League footballer playing for a Premier League club. If I'm mistaken, you can.
No, I think it was George Baddock.
Yeah, George Baddock was
in the Premier League
yeah,
then.
yeah, George Baddock, who also recently passed with Greek international. I think he was playing for Olympiacos or was it Panathinaikos? He was playing in Greece at the time. So it's just something we look at these guys as invincible, as the very best of us in terms of like.
I think it didn't happen in the Premier League though, but Mark Vivian Foe was also
My BBFO was an active was an active
The
player.
thing about the Jota's death was how sudden it happened. I remember that morning I was taking a walk and I was arguing about Victor, that is the Nigerian rapper, on social media. I was arguing his legacy, and then someone just like interrupted the conversation with, "Is this news about Jota true?" And then I thought it was about a transfer story. Maybe he left Liverpool, and I quickly went to Fabrizio's page. There was nothing there. And then about 30 minutes later, somebody sent Marker's reports that he had passed. Like, it is the way it was sudden. You hope it was a joke, but I mean, this is Marker. They are like the number one source in Spain, and the news just started trooping in, and it was like, this thing is true. Like, at some point in the afternoon, I had to pinch myself that did this really happen, and it was so. I was so overwhelmed with sad emotions that it was just. It's a sad person, and I hope that if I am feeling this way, and he's not even a footballer that plays for my club, he's not a footballer I particularly have any sort of affiliation to, and I feel this way, I can't even imagine how his family and his close colleagues are feeling. I hope they, like you said, they have the fortitude to bear the loss.
Yeah. So obviously, is the only football podcast is usually a more jovial atmosphere, but the football world is in passing. It's a morning now. We had to acknowledge it. So our commiserations with the families of Jota and Andre Silva and the Rufai family and any active footballer, or even past footballer who has passed, and the family that's still not ill. We wish you strength, guidance, love, peace, prosperity, happiness wherever you can find it. And I'm hearing reports that Liverpool plan to keep Jota's to keep their contractual commitments to Jota, even though they are not required to by FIFA. In fact, according to FIFA rules, if a player is diseased, the contract is automatically null and void. But we hear that Liverpool are trying to go out of their way to make sure that they pay the rest to his family.
I think it's the human thing to do, especially when you look at it, the fact that he left 3 kids and a widow who now has to do with the raising those 3 kids alone. In fact, one of those kids is still an infant, not up to a year. So yeah, it's the least that Liverpool should and could do, and also the immortalization of his number 20 jersey also. Yeah, I think it's the least that the Liverpool as a club can do, because if you look at it, just spent like 5 years at Liverpool and was really, really, really a wonderful player for us. Even though he wasn't the tallest of them, but scored a lot of headers and all that, was really, really a great joy to watch. So yeah, I think it's a nice gesture, but I also say I'll have to say that it's just a list that they should and they can do.
All right. So, unfortunately, we do have to move on because there's a lot to talk about on episode 22 of the OnlyFootball Podcast. So, again, our condolences with the family. And and a round of applause for our guest, Tosin Abayomi, who joins us to lend his, knowledge. Tosin, I hope we have not dampened your spirits.
Obviously, when the news of Jota broke, when I had to obviously make sure that it was first on the polls, Nigeria sports.
Yeah, I know that was your priority.
And but obviously, very, very sad. But everybody has said what they needed to say, and I think obviously we hope the best for the family. And we'll move on to the new topics.
All right. Speaking of the rest of the topics, we do have a job to do, so let's carry on with it. And the biggest non-tragic thing to happen in football this week, in my opinion, is confirmation of the fact that the Victor Osimhen transfer saga finally has an ending. Outside, there might be a bigger news story, and it's also quite tragic. But we'll talk about it soon. But Victor Osimhen first, and we hear reliably from from an Osimhen reporter.
Say, mention that's the journalistic standards. You mentioned the name of the.
Oh yeah, okay.
Fabrizio.
Independent journalist. Does he work?
He's not an independent journalist, he's a broadcaster. He still works with Wazobia.
Oh, he has a job. I didn't know that. All right. All right. Nigerian journalist Buchilaba exclusively broke the news that
He's saying it with variation. Say it is.
that Victor Osimhen has chosen to, join Galatasaray on a permanent deal. But our last reaction to choosing, I think you don't believe it was much of a choice.
Well, I mean, the transfer window is sort of like like the dating scene where
Wow.
Interesting. Tell us more. How's your dating life?
because
He too has not gotten a
although even though yes, by virtue of the fact that you've chosen to date someone or chosen a club, it also then points to the fact that the people that you really wanted, did they also try to choose you?
It's funny. It's funny how the conversation on Twitter this week is Nigeria women settling for less.
Yeah, because
Go on.
I mean
Oh,
sometimes
that's
you don't have a choice really in who tries to sign you.
I will forward you a
And
therapist
unfortunately-
number. You need to get this clear.
Hey, again, these are just the facts of the matter. You don't, as a footballer, even you don't have the luxury of choice of who wants to sign you. You have to choose from the options that you are presented. And I know many people will not agree, but I think he's probably chosen the best option for him at the moment.
Available option. That's it.
His best available option, definitely. Even though there was more money elsewhere, still remaining in Europe, playing in Champions League, and still earning what you want to earn it would have definitely been a big factor
Best
for
of
him.
both worlds.
Yes, exactly.
Even though it's not entirely what you wanted, it's
Yes,
still
but
a
it's
solid
still
compromise.
a solid compromise, and you're getting a really good deal, in my opinion.
Tosin, I have a feeling you do not agree with Victor Osimhen's career choice.
It's not my life. He will live his life at the end of the day. But you see, thank God that this Osimhen saga has actually come to an end after like 2 years of back and forth.
I mean,
It's not confirmed yet. So.
No, even if he signs the deal, because we are hearing it's going to be a 3-year deal. I personally think that he signed a 3-year deal with Galatasaray because, okay, I play here, I earn the money I want to earn, I play Champions League football, I still show the rest of Europe that I'm still good, and 2 years into the deal, I leave for significantly less.
Easier to negotiate with like.
So go sign. I don't.
It would be. Wait.
2 years from now is 28 years.
Wait.
Like 28-year-old cannot sign for a top team.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait.
We have waited. Go.
This is the same nonsense that you started when we were having this discussion about. You will sign a 3-year. What are they? Father Christmas? Are they into the charity business?
But they are signing a 3-year deal. Now. That's what the Osimhen reporter reported.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they are not obliged to sell him after 2 years. He might find himself in the same situation
You
as he was
can't
at
see.
Napoli.
I was not born yesterday, and you cannot tell me that fufu is cake.
You understand? So when you are telling me that Osimhen, that Galatasaray is going to fork out 75 million for a 3-year deal, I will believe it when I see it. That's the first thing. For the second thing, for some reason, when there are strikers on the market, Osimhen's name is involved. But all the other strikers get to go to other clubs, and there's a saga involving Osimhen. Why? I don't know. Is it a spiritual problem? I
think the reason ties to maybe the lack of professionalism in the organizing of his brand. His last agent was Roberto Calenda. If you go on transfer market now and you check the players under Roberto Calenda, there are only 3, and only one of them is active. 2 of them are retired. Osimhen has sacked him now after he could not secure a move in, last summer. And that one player that is active is Juan Jesus, the Napoli guy. That is the person that is managing the affairs of the best footballer in Africa.
Is this the same agent that got him a 75 million euros move to Napoli in the middle of a transfer, in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah,
So let's not talk about the agent like he does not have.
I think you still have to look at it in that way, because yes, it's like when you're building a team, it's the way, for example, now, sorry for the example, but the way Arsenal fans look at Martin Odegaard was exceptional for a period because he was what they needed. But now they look at it that they need to move a step higher, and it's not like Odegaard is a bad player, but he just cannot give them that next level. And I think that was the same thing with Osimhen and Calenda.
If you're not somebody that is uncultured and you don't watch classic movies, I would have told you in The Godfather, they had to change their conciliary.
Who is one to follow now?
I'm talking to you, Tunde Young.
You must be talking to Kaida
To you.
Cannot be that.
If you had watched The Godfather,
Tunde watched Godfather.
he has definitely not watched The Godfather.
I tried to watch the first one.
Yeah, obviously, I was asking who I was talking to.
Yeah. I don't enjoy movies where you are just
They had to change their conciliary when they moved from a time of war to a time of
Make your
That's-
point
no,
without
I'm-
explain the plot of The Godfather.
So that was the type of agent he had. And
That
now,
was in The Godfather.
No, I think that was a wartime Godfather.
yeah,
He did a
that-
peacetime Godfather.
now he needs
Or rather, a
that can-
peacetime lawyer.
yeah, somebody that can get him to the next
I
level.
don't want to consider it, Miss. Thank you.
I'm happy for you.
So and now he does not have an agent. He's not represented by anyone. If you see the
I
like,
find that out to believe.
No. I think
he has lawyers. He has
yeah.
that
His lawyer is Belgian also.
Yeah, but he does not have an agent. He does not have an agency handling his affairs. If you see the likes of Kevin Prince Boateng securing moves to Barcelona, it is because they have an agent that can call hello. What's up?
It is also a situation where Barcelona, it's the same thing with the Gallo thing, because people keep referencing that it's a situation where these top clubs needed a very low budget third choice striker.
Yeah, but
And these players would have done it for free because they were at that stage in their careers.
But they
So
were still
it's
offered.
not-
They still
not
offered
the
the club.
the point.
So if they select you, Kevin Boateng, in a pool of Choupo-Moting and Odoni Gallo,
You know which promoting agent is. Promoting agent is a big deal, and that's why I keep securing moves to this big club, PSG and Bayern Munich. Your agent matters. There's no way Osimhen is signed under Judge Mendes, and he has not secured a proper move.
Yes.
But this maybe these guys do not want to like give up.
You've
a
made,
piece of
you've
the
made
pie.
me 2 cents. You've made me 2 cents.
okay.
Maybe they don't want to give up a piece of the pie to the agent or something.
All right, let me find out what Joba's thoughts. First of all, I don't believe for a single minute or a second that Victor Osimhen does not have representation in it.
Really?
I do not believe it. Yeah, I know it's easy to put that on him because that Nigeria.
He doesn't have an agent right now.
I don't believe
Fabrizio reported that he negotiated the Galatasaray move himself with his lawyers, not an agent.
it's good. I don't believe it. Joba Ogunwale.
Yeah. So yes,
I know that you have voiced your discontent at the way it's being reported. Whether it's about the report or the reporter, I don't know. But
If he did not,
I know that also seem to believe that Osimhen did not have any offers, and you say it reliably as if now you then fly go last game of the season.
so here's the thing. I know that I'll disagree with the fact that they said Osimhen rejected top offers from top clubs. I don't think so.
Why though? Why? Explain.
Oh, so you are the flesh of my flesh. I support that.
That's not that should not make you happy.
I don't think so. Because here's the thing. The likes of Chelsea or maybe
United.
I don't even think maybe Man U. I don't think Arsenal ever made an inquiry. The likes of Chelsea and might have made an inquiry, but I don't think they were really keen on signing.
What constitutes really keen for you?
Really keen,
Making an actual offer.
be like trying to convince him that this rule.
I mean, I'm
Because you are-
keen on a Lamborghini, but I've never been
Yeah,
an
because
offer.
your inquiry was so far off that you just
Yeah,
didn't bother to.
no,
Because you know that the player was not going to make any compromises.
But here's the thing also. I do think that if they feel like, it's worth the baggage, I think they would have gone all out and go in and actually yield into his demands, which is why I said I don't think he rejected top of offers. We've seen. So are you telling me that if it was, let's say, maybe a case of maybe Mbappe that was actually available in the transfer market?
Mbappe is a top 1% footballer.
I mean,
You also claim that Osimhen
like
is-
you're saying, like this is the best African striker right now.
Yes,
you understand?
yes, I agree.
This is the best African striker right
But
now.
it's not Mbappe.
So
it's
the
not
thing is,
Haaland.
clubs don't believe that is worth all that baggage.
I don't think that's true. I think it's a matter of opportunity as well. Like when Lionel Messi was available for free,
Yeah.
there were only a select clubs that could even bother to make an offer.
But yes,
Wait,
don't let us talk.
three Premier League clubs are looking for a striker this summer.
Okay.
In like 2 summers ago, also, or was it 2 summers ago when he could have actually left? 3 clubs, the same situation presented itself.
Those are your points.
I'm going to support what he just
Kiss
said.
him if you must.
Because there's a hula baloo that just keeps going around this conversation about Osimhen, and everybody gets signed. Like last season, I said this. PSG needed a striker. They signed Kolo Muani. Kolo Muani. Who the hell is Kolo Muani?
Exactly.
Last season available when they signed Muani.
Was not available.
It was not available when they signed Muani. It was the season he signed.
Yeah,
Osimhen just signed the contract renewal then now.
No.
What
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago.
Before he said
Before he signed this.
Let's stop talking over each other. Just one by one. Who wants to go?
2 seasons ago, PSG signed Kolo Muani for 100 million pounds or so. You understand? Napoli were ready to let Osimhen leave for like 130 million pounds.
No, that was not 2 seasons ago. When he signed his contract.
He had just won the league now. When he won,
No. Wait till.
The reason why he signed the contract renewal was so that he could go to Galatasaray and not come back a free agent.
There have been 3 seasons. Wait till.
renewal that
Wait till.
I think made
Wait, please. Can we get this straight? He won the league with Napoli.
Yeah. What year?
He refused in 2022-23.
Thank you.
He refused to leave. He signed a renewal to stay in Napoli player for 2023-24.
No.
23-24 did not go as planned, and then that was when he was not actively trying to leave in the summer of
That's the
2024.
mistake you're making. 2022-2023. He had
After
the
he
chance.
won the
After he won the league, he had the chance to actually leave.
But he wasn't on the market. He didn't want to leave then.
No. That
Yeah,
was,
just one
wait,
delete.
wait, wait.
The
Are
whole
you
point
talking-
of the renewals was for them to sell him.
Al Ali, or was it Al Hilal actually made a bid?
And he
then.
turned them
He
down.
turned them
Them
down.
down.
Yeah, because he didn't want to leave.
Napoli were willing to sell that time.
But again,
but wait,
he did not want to leave.
This is the point of argument.
Okay.
That season, that summer was when PSG signed Kolo Muani for 100 million euros.
They came back the next year again. It's all
100 million euros. Which meant, and that year also was actually, I think, was the year Man signed Oilon
Yes.
for 75 million, 75. I think Arsenal were also looking for a striker that year. I think that was the year they signed Kai Havertz. I'm not really sure. I think that was
the previous season.
the previous season. That was the, but I knew like clubs were also in the market for strikers then. Now, Napoli were willing to sell, but not for the 75 million release clause. They were willing to sell, but not for the 75 million.
Was he willing to leave?
It was
not a 75 million release clause.
Wait,
Can I
it
put
was not.
something?
It was not willing.
Wait.
But what I'm
Napoli
saying
came
is
back
that-
for him next season
but-
again.
But what I'm saying is that clubs were willing to spend big on
At that time.
on strikers at that time. PSG went for Kolo Muani when they could have actually had like 20 million euros.
Wait. The time clubs were willing to spend, the time Colomani was signed, we are just specifying to you now. Osimhen had just won the league with Napoli.
Yeah.
And he's clearly a very big loyalty guy. Let us even talk about the fact about why he now actively trying to start leaving Napoli. Was because the 23-24 season he felt disrespected. That was the season that penalty thing happened. That thing happened. That was when he was not active. But by then,
PSG came for him.
PSG came back. They could not. He wanted to leave.
They came back because Colomwani was one of the first.
Yes,
of the
he wanted to leave them.
Yeah.
But they could not reach an agreement with Napoli. That's not an Osimhen thing.
No. They couldn't reach. I don't know. They couldn't reach personal terms.
No,
They couldn't reach.
it was with Napoli.
Okay, Ayoola, go ahead. Let's.
The issue,
We are going
issue
back.
that PSG had, I remember, it was with Napoli because PSG made a 220 million euro bid for Osimhen and Partey.
Yeah.
And Napoli said they wanted, I think, 240, like 120 to 120 each. So they couldn't reach an agreement with Napoli. But again, that still goes to say that could they not, if they really wanted these players, could they not have, because they came back with a revised bid of, I think it was 80 million plus money or something like that. Money and player. And Napoli said, no, just give us money. Could they not, if they saw his value was that high, could they not have done more to try and sign him?
At that time, Luis Campos was the one pushing for the move. Luis Enrique did not really want Osimhen. And when Luis Enrique gained more power, he just shut down the move.
Shut it down.
They had already lost interest before Luis Enrique decided that he was not going to play with.
Yes,
Stafford.
because
of the pricing.
Because they had already just spent 100 million in a saga that didn't work, so they didn't need a saga bad enough to spend 120 million.
You're still missing the point. It also comes back down to the fact that clubs don't believe that is what the bargain.
You are taking the wrong point. Listen,
because here's the thing: if I actually believe that a player is really, really worth it, I won't. Manchester City signed Nico Gonzalez for how many million pounds in January and all that, and they still went ahead to sign like a couple of midfielders, and they still want, and they are about to sign to sell Nico Gonzalez this moment. If clubs believe that you are worth the bargain, they will go all out for you.
Go all out for you.
Okay, wait. Like when we talk about Osimhen, for otherwise we like to have general conversations instead of talking about the nuances of what you describe now. We are all in agreement about what happened, but somehow you seem to derive the wrong message, which is that it's more of a case of timeline rather than interest.
Exactly.
Let me just land this plane. And here's why I don't even think it's more majorly an Osimhen issue. There are 3 Premier League clubs interested, right? There are Chelsea, United, and who?
Arsenal.
And Arsenal. Arsenal, we know Osimhen is not their first choice. It's Gyökeres, Sesko, and Osimhen if it comes to that. So they probably never even made an inquiry. They just have him on their list. But let's focus on Chelsea and United. Chelsea are at the point now where the new ownership is aggressive about signing young players and young players only for the specific reason of being able to give them long contracts
with very low wages,
where you can spread the transfer fee across those contracts and also offer them low wages that are performance rewarded. That is not the scenario for a top player, any top player, not even Osimhen. So Chelsea right now are not trying to sign any top player. Any top player that comes to Chelsea right now is going to be taking a massive pay cut.
I disagree again.
Wait.
Which top player?
I disagree again.
Okay, why do you disagree?
I disagree again. I just think that you're not going to tell me that if Chelsea find maybe someone like in the mode of Haaland or something like that, clubs do break some of this strategy.
Yeah, but
sometimes.
Chelsea have needed a top centre back for like the past 2 seasons, and they've not signed any.
Which top centre backs like is available that you feel like, oh yes, we can break the bank.
Chelsea literally refused to sign a goalkeeper. It's a position that we need for the Club World Cup. Refused to sign a goalkeeper because of extra 5 million. This is a new ownership. We cannot keep looking at these things with a general broad stroke. This is not Abramovich's Chelsea. This is Todd Bowley's Chelsea that are all about finances. It's all about staying in the good books of PSR. They just got a 20 million fine from UEFA for breaking FFP rules. It is entirely about finances. It is even finances before football. And that was one of my gripes as a Chelsea fan. So I'm telling you, from Chelsea's perspective, it was never going to work except Osimhen is, and from Osimhen's perspective as well, it is never going to work. As a 26-year-old, turning 27 in December, Nigerian, this is your last chance at a big contract. No, if any contract you sign is probably going to be with a top club, it's probably going to be a 5-year deal. You are not getting a big contract at 32. That's not even as a European, let alone as a Nigerian. So, from Osimhen's perspective, Chelsea was also not an option for that reason. You want to offer him 120k to now come and prove himself and now be any performance-related bonuses. He needs something that is guaranteed at this stage of his career. And I understand. And it's not even necessarily just an Osimhen thing. Look, why can't people like Rafael Leao secure big deals? Rafael Leao pretty much has an identical CV to Osimhen. Led his own team to a Serie A title in AC Milan. Came from Lille as well. for big money has been linked to big clubs for literally every summer for the last 4 seasons. It has not happened. Why? It's too expensive.
Let me just say something. Can I say something? AC
Go.
Milan don't want. They're not telling Rafael Leao to go and train with the youth team.
Yeah,
That's a difference.
Rafael has never pushed for a move. Now, if Osimhen never
Yeah,
pushed for a move, it's-
No, Conte didn't want.
It's not
that's not, it was never about Conte.
Conte did not want Osimhen because he has been told already that
Conte's first press conference, he
Osimhen is
said
not
that it's
your
not
plan.
his decision.
No.
Back
That
to your
has been-
point.
the decision
Back
has
to your
been
point, Tunde. Now let me go back to this. Last season, was it last season that Kane joined Bayern?
no, not last
2 seasons ago. I know that.
also the season
Wait.
Osimhen signed the renewal of Napoli.
Wait, I think Man U. There was a time Man U were ready. Kane was 30 or so when he left. There was a time Man U were ready to spend £100 million on Kane.
That's 3 seasons ago.
On 2 seasons ago on Kane, and then I think Kane even earns more in terms of wages more than Osimhen, and they were willing to like even go high.
Okay.
Why? Because they know that Kane actually moves me.
Okay.
If you are saying that Chelsea has like have a new strategy right now. What about United?
Stay right there.
What
Stay right there.
Arsenal?
I was going to stay right there. The United have made that offer. It's not today's United. Again, that's where you keep looking at it from a general perspective. Look at it with what's happening at the club right now. The Ineos United, with the way they are cutting costs, with the way the entire point of what Jim Ratcliffe has coming to do now is get rid of this heavy contracts that are sinking us financially. And replace them with softer costs, even if you pay more in transfer fees, but
Also-
emphasis on, because most people, wait, please let me just land this.
Finish.
Most offers look at transfer fees as the biggest part,
Yeah.
because wages they calculate it weekly, but wages, these clubs have wage bills that run into 300 million, 400 million a year, and it is crippling if instead of having to pay it, and even how it reads on your PSR, on your FFP bill. So the wages are actually the most important part of most transfers, in fact every transfer, in fact. So because the transfer bill you can amortize, you can pay installments or whatever. Nobody even pays money at once. It's not done anyway. Nobody's giving 5 million one time.
Some people do.
It's very rare, but that's the point though. Like, look at it with the nuance of the current situation. Today's United cannot afford Osimhen.
Okay, also,
No, will they break that?
let me quickly piggyback off his points. At the time when Osimhen had the 130 million release clause,
Yes.
the Everton had not been hit with that, slapped with that PSR sanction. At that time, the Premier League was still spending money for people. It was when Osimhen was given that 130 million release clause, it seemed plausible that somebody was definitely going to trigger this, because it came off the back of Bayern spending 100 million for Kane. Real Madrid just spent what they spent for Mbappe, and the striker market was very scarce. So when he was given a 130 million release clause, it did not seem too serious. But the season after, the financial landscape in the Premier League had changed, because that was when the PSR sanctions now became heated. So I think we have to balance those nuances. The Premier League clubs are not spending as they used to spend anymore.
Wait. Here's the thing. I totally agree with what you're saying. You understand? But my point is, because I don't understand if you're missing the point. My point is, yes, Liverpool at the point like have this kind of strategy in place whereby you have to sell to buy and all that. Like but I mean, Liverpool paid broke their transfer record
For
to
Van
sign
Alisson,
not even
Van Dijk.
this season. I'm even talking
Florian
about this on
Florian
Florian Wirtz, because they believe that it's like Wirtz move the needle.
once in a lifetime.
If a player can move the needle, clubs will break strategy. That's what I'm saying.
Let us stay with Liverpool again. Let us. We have to move on from this very soon, but let's stay with Liverpool. How much is Florian Wirtz's wages? How much is the transfer fee? Look at what we can look at what is reported. What's reported that Osimhen wants 250k after tax, which would put him at 350k to 400 weekly in terms of total gross salary. How many players in Premier League history, in fact, how many players in the history of football have been signed immediately with a 400k wage officially? I'm not talking of the ones that City do, that they pay you your real salary, they now that's what they are in court for. I'm not going to speak on it. But how many players, like, we have to, I don't think people really comprehend these demands. Florian Wirtz is reported to be on 200k a week.
Although some reports says
The initial report said 300, but with saw more reports that says it's 200k a week.
And that's gross. So
There is a massive difference between 200k and 400k a week. It seems like just 200k, but when you
Also,
multiply it over monthly,
250k that Osimhen is on. Are you sure it's before tax?
it's before tax.
this is before tax.
No, 250k is after tax, and Napoli
Yeah,
is after tax. So, and that's the thing. That's what is being reported anyway. None of us have access to his wages. Let's not specify that.
But what for the new one that is reported at Galatasaray? 60 million euros per season works out to.
Yeah,
I
but
think it works out to up to
yeah, but the thing,
400,000 per
The
week.
tax laws in Turkey might be different.
yeah, that's the point. It's because
Tax
of
laws in
the
Turkey might
tax
be different.
laws. So
Also-
if what they pay him gross, if to meet his net, they have to pay. They would have to pay just far less than what a Premier League club would have to meet Osimhen's.
So because the tax laws are different. The same thing with Italy. That's why Napoli, a broke Italian club, can afford wages that Premier League clubs will scoff at because the tax laws are not the same, especially for
Yeah,
foreign
they used to
players.
get tax breaks
for foreign
signing
players that
foreign players.
that play in Italy. So like these are so when you use Florent as an example, and then you completely forget that there is a 200k valuation difference.
Yeah.
So when you spend out 200k over the course of a month, then you spend out 200k over the course of a year, you are looking at another 12 to 15 million in salary. That's another person's salary entirely. So you cannot keep using broad strokes. Yeah, general football conversation, yeah, but let us actually calm down. I think we owe it as Nigerian journalists to calm down, look at it.
So here's the thing. It's because we've had this argument before. So it's either you guys are contradicting yourself or something like that. So you said like, okay, only few players, like top 1%, maybe the likes of Alan and all that. And we've always had this argument that, oh, yeah, is Osimhen top 5? Is Osimhen, like you've always mentioned that, yeah, he's top 5, he's top 3 or something like that. So it's either he's a player doesn't move needle as you guys
You
actually.
can move the needle without being a top 5 player.
Why did Ronaldo not join another European club and he went to Saudi?
At what age? What are you saying?
Wait now.
I don't know where it's going.
Wait. There's a point when like they are only when you have certain financial demands, only certain clubs can.
Can't even think of you.
Like you might be like Ronaldo is better than some strikers in some top clubs now. He's better. Yeah, he's definitely better than Jackson. Cristiano Ronaldo is.
Come on.
Ronaldo is not better than Jackson or Elon.
Ronaldo is past
Why would Ronaldo go to
now.
Chelsea?
Come on now. Come on.
Wait.
And also, you have to
don't
factor in age here. Like,
That's a factor in age and club loyalty.
like,
Wait, first of all, Liverpool started a whole new argument that doesn't even have to do with what we're discussing. He was making a point that mentioned Ronaldo.
But,
This is not about Ronaldo.
it's the point is that when you have certain financial demands, like top clubs, the best clubs, because they have other players that they are paying high wages, they can't afford to shell out the amount for you. Wait, the reason why a club like Athletic Club can afford to pay Nico Williams the amount they are paying him,
Because they
10
don't
million
pay
less.
transfer fees.
Yeah, other than that, it's because every other player on their wage bill is receiving less than 100k gross safe. So they only pay the Williams players that high. But when you are talking about a club like Chelsea that has like 5 players on 150k, 200k, they can't afford Osimhen's wages. Maybe the conversation we should be talking about is Osimhen demanding too much. That's what we should be discussing.
Which, in my opinion, is not.
That seems fair, but to say that clubs don't give him and move the needle, that's not true. Like a club that's signing Højlund does not think that Osimhen is not better for them.
I even want to
A
ask.
club that is signing Liam the lab does not think Osimhen.
Wait, let me ask Joba and Tosin final now before we move on. If, first of all, as a Liverpool fan, is Trent a top 1% player in the world?
in his position.
In the world, just in the world. Even in his position, definitely, but in the world. By virtue of what he does in his position, is he yes or no? I think he is.
He is, yes.
What do you think Trent's salary at Real Madrid is?
Have you considered the sign-on fee? Like, have you considered the
Sign-off is very
Very, like,
considerable.
So, Mbappe's sign-off fee is basically the GDP of many countries, and his salary is still.
like,
Trent could have earned more money even with that sign-off fee elsewhere, but because it's Real Madrid, I think that's what it is.
No, not even Liverpool were offering the
think more.
exact same salary, but the difference maker was eventually the sign-off fee, which again is like a whole new salary. So
All right, fair enough.
orange
But
and
the thing is, you don't have to be a top. Osimhen is not a top 5 player in the world. Osimhen has a case for a top 5 striker in the world. You don't have to be a top 5 player in the world to be a needle mover. Like you can. Florian Wirtz is not a top 20 player in the world.
Top 5 striker in the world. and about 5 clubs are actually looking for a striker in a song. Wait. I don't think
Over two summers, and you don't get, and you end up
clubs
in
are not ready
Galatasaray.
to like.
Okay.
Is it that guy? Is the question we should keep asking is simple. Is Osimhen that guy, or is he not that guy?
All right,
Forget the wages.
let us leave it there. I will have the conversation on at the time
social media.
on the time where we have more time. If you feel Victor's, or if you agree with this side of the couch that Victor Osimhen is not that guy and clubs don't think it's worth it, let us know in the comments. And if you agree with, in my opinion, the simple side of the couch, that's Osimhen, of course, it's more of a nuanced conversation, which is what I think. I'm not even saying whether it's worth it or not. Let's just look at it deeper. That's all I'm asking. Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all of that shit. But right now, let's talk about the Thomas Partey story. Joba, do you have the story for us?
Yeah. So reports came out last Friday that Thomas Partey has been charged by the Crown Police in the UK.
They specified former Arsenal.
Yeah, former Arsenal
on
player.
30.
So he was charged for 5 rape counts and then 1 sexual assault misconduct. So the 5 rape accounts involves two women, one from his former wife, ex-wife. I think Tosin wrote that story, then Thomas Partey converts to Muslim in that story blew up. And then there was also another case involving another girl who had shared WhatsApp chats between herself and Thomas Partey. Let's be clear, it's an allegation. Nobody has been charged.
Yeah.
No, I thought he had been charged.
He had been.
Okay, he has been charged, but no,
Just to specify, first of all, we are not lawyers, we are not legal minds, we know nothing about the intricacies of this case, so we are not talking about the case specifically. Although there's a conversation worth having here that has already started on the internet with lots of Arsenal fans and even non-Arsenal fans being disappointed with the fact that the timing,
convenient.
everybody had been saying this for years, that whenever the reports of unknown Premier League star pops up, it's always Partey that people point to, and people felt like Arsenal shielded him and protected him from the allegations until he was no longer their player, and the timing supports that theory because it broke right after we heard that he's not going to sign a new contract with Arsenal. So first of all, how do we feel about this? Do we agree? Do we disagree?
I mean, it does look iffy if you're a player that is clear. Everybody, like, it's not something that is hidden. It was an open secret. We all know that it was Thomas, but especially because he has been arrested before. That was arrested. Yeah, no, I mean, we later found out that he has been arrested up to 7 times and collected bail. But there was a time when we knew that he had been arrested, and there were reports that he could not go to Spain or something. And Arsenal has showed public support to him. There was a time Mikel Arteta was saying that he hopes he comes back stronger from an injury. But I mean, for you to use certain statements about such a player with such heavy allegations hanging over his head, I think it's understandable that people feel the way they feel, because what if he had signed a new contract? Because Arsenal had offered him a contract renewal. It was not like they just let his contract run out. They offered him a renewal and he did not accept their terms, and then they let him go. So is it that if he had signed the renewal and he goes on to be guilty, Arsenal would have continued shielding him from the law? So I think it's fair that people feel the way they feel.
Well,
More to the point that you made is that if he had signed a new contract, would he have eventually been charged? Because this is a case that has been going on since...
bordering on conspiracy theory, yeah. But good.
I mean, it's a case that came out since
Is it?
the 2022, 2021, 2022, and in those 3 years, arrested, released, and only 4 days after he was released from his contract at Arsenal was he officially charged. Did the evidence that took them 3 years to gather suddenly become available in those 4 days?
Again, yes, my point. Again, first of all, I need to specify I'm not keeping for Thomas Partey or anything. No way, I have
Men of days, Nigerian men.
I have no dog in this fight. I do not hate anybody. I hope that justice is served. Now, is there a world where the timing of the readiness of the evidence is a coincidence? Like, say, because I don't think that when we say Arsenal, let's define what we mean by Arsenal was protecting it. Because yes, in my opinion, And yes, it's at risk of sounding controversial. Arsenal did what I expect every
Employer.
football club employer to do, which is treat an allegation like an allegation until it is serious. Where I would have agreed with you guys if he was charged and Arsenal still kept playing him or still kept protecting. I don't think that Arsenal shielding him protected him from being charged. I don't think that's why I said that one is a conspiracy. There's no way to prove that. From where I see it, it looks like a coincidence. It looks like even if he signed a new contract with Arsenal, the evidence would have come out at the time that he came out, and then Arsenal will probably look bad.
It's too convenient a coincidence, though.
Well, what I know is that, like, I won't say it's a similar situation. We saw this situation involving Mendy and Manchester City then, and we saw the steps that Manchester City took, and obviously the outcry that was, the pressure that was put on Manchester City then to kind of release him out of his contract. Now, at the back end of it, he had to go to court and get the settlement for later part of his contract, and they got to an agreement. And I think in one way or another, these issues, especially like with borders on rape, domestic violence, in case of, let's say, allegedly in Mason Greenwood's case, all these issues that border around protection of women, they should be taken with the utmost priority. And you would expect that in a much more civilized society, expectedly, like United Kingdom, not in Nigeria, no disrespect to Nigeria.
Disrespect to Nigeria.
But in the United Kingdom, there will be much more of an emphasis on issues like this. And for one or two reasons, especially maybe the delicacy in terms of that. He's an African man.
Delicacy.
African men too can also go to jail. It's not really. What?
All right, we have taken a turn to where I did not expect. So let us just. No, we have to go. I think probably next week maybe, I don't know if it's worth talking about anymore. But I would have loved to. We don't have much time. I would have loved for us to like talk about. I do not. I genuinely do not believe, because a lot of people's issue is not even the fact that it was people. A lot of people's issue, especially rival fans, is that why does not keep playing it?
I guess we have to wait to find out more. The thing is, when news like this come outside, people are quick because of I'll call it virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Ojai. People are quick to like.
You don't want to be the guy that continued playing.
People would have
playing a sexual abuser.
People are quick to put out think pieces. I think we should wait to find out more. Let's understand. Is it that the Arsenal do not even know the full story, because Manchester United's stance from the Mason Greenwood's case is that they had to do their own private reports, and the CPS, that's the Crown Prosecution Service, they were not they did not volunteer the information. So Manchester United had to do their own private investigation. So it's possible that Arsenal do not know the full story and they were just protecting an employee. It's possible that Thomas Partey has different accounts of what happened. And it's possible that these allegations are false. I mean, we have to assume that the allegations against Benjamin Mendy is false, because the court says that he was acquitted. So let's just wait and see how the story develops, and so that we can properly then give a judgment on it.
All right, Patience is a virtue and we have it in spades. So we'll be waiting here on the OnlyFootball Podcast, which we have to go. There was a lot we hope to talk about, but we can't get to. Samson says here, we played you the video of what happened between him and Mikel Obi last week. He has now come out to say he never said that, even though there is a video of him saying it, that I will ensure that we play again. I'm joking. I'm joking. We'll not play it again. But he definitely said,
go and watch the last episode.
He said it like that. I know it's not here. That part. He said, I told him, oh, guys, it's not about it. $50,000. AI does not talk like that. Chava, he said it. Now that he has been sued $250,000 by Mikel's lawyer, reportedly, he has to come out. Mikel's former agent, I beg your pardon. He has to come out to.
I don't think he realizes that it's a big deal. Maybe he thinks it's an article and he can just say, journalists are lying.
This drama is not going to, because this is not straight week of talking Siasi and Mikel, so we'll probably get to it next week. I'm sure something else will happen over the week. Abel Musa was also appointed as general manager of Kano Pillars.
The governor.
Why you clap for it? Those are the congratulations, by the way. Bag. Big bag. Why you celebrate that? Bear in mind that Abel Musa also is still a Kano Pillars player. I've never seen someone beat both a player and a general manager for the same football club ever in the history of watching football. We have Console 24 as well. The Super Falcons emerged 3-0 winners against Tunisia. We didn't play well, but we won. So congratulations to everybody involved. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we have time for transfer window update. They said Faruq is going to speed through it.
No. Let's just move on.
All right,
Nothing big happened.
Thank you for
Wasn't it
spending
one person.
No, it was more than one, but it's not serious.
All right, Simon, I think I moved to Sunderland. But yeah, thank you for spending your weekend with us. We are the OnlyFootball Podcast. Do you have fun facts? Yes.
Okay, very fun. Did you know that a player could be sent off 5 times in the same match?
How?
So in 2001, a player in Scotland's second division named Dave Bowman was sent off for a professional foul, and then he insulted the referee, refused to leave the pitch, and also tried to snatch the red card from the referee's hand. And he was given a separate red card for each offense, and then a separate red card for each insult, and then a separate red card for trying to snatch the red card and for refusing to leave the pitch. And he ended up receiving 5 red cards and was banned for 17 matches.
That referee is taking it.
But I bet he still got the transfer move in his career. And he was a
that was
Osimhen should not move because he called Finidi by name on IG Live. You are on serious, and we have to go. My name is Tunde Young. Thanks to Tosin Abayomi for joining us. Always a pleasure when he graces us with his very dull presence. I'm joking.
But when we start the pod, the way we started it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Joba Ogunwale as well, dressed in his Joseph uniform. And to my right, dressed like Puja Ayoola Kelechi is here. Faruq Ibrahim, he sells jerseys, that's why he's wearing a jersey. So talk to him nicely in the comments. We'll see you next week. Episode 22 has been fun. Hopefully, the next one is even more fun. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, you're wicked and you're going to hell. Bye.